This show is sponsored by Bitonic. Invest in Bitcoin with ease.
Connetti il mondo.
Lucas Ferreira, SatsConf, Vinteum, Brazil.
In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped. Today, they're just casually walking across keyboards and sitting on laptops. Have yours ever hit send on an email before you were ready?
Yes.
Brazil is famously a football-obsessed country, with legends like Pelé and Ronaldo woven into national pride. Given all that, have you ever felt slightly out of place for just not being into sports?
Yes.
Steak parmigiana became a Brazilian comfort food staple by way of Italian immigrants, while the hamburger is a global classic. When both are on the menu, would you honestly skip dessert to double down on meat?
No.
Karaoke began in Japan in the 1970s and has since become the ultimate mix of fun and embarrassing worldwide. Could you take the mic stone cold sober, or do you need a little liquid to courage yourself first?
No.
In tropical countries like Brazil, coconut water isn't just a drink, it's practically a wellness ritual. Even so, when you're out at karaoke, is it still your drink of choice over something more bubbly?
No.
Board games have evolved from Monopoly to full-blown strategy sagas like Catan and Terraforming Mars. When you're hosting game night, are you the kind of player who plays to win mercilessly?
No.
12 Angry Men from 1957 was one of the earliest films to use nearly a single location in drive tension and drama. After watching it, did it make you question whether you'd be principled and persuasive as Juror 8?
Yes.
Luis Alberto Spinetta, a pioneer of Argentina rock, shaped Latin American music with its poetic lyrics and experimental sound. When you listen to his work, do you ever wish more people around you knew how groundbreaking it is?
Yes.
Some people travel to escape, others to explore, and a few just prefer their cats, books, and peace. Is your idea of a perfect holiday one that doesn't involve airports or itineraries at all?
Yes.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 140 already of Connect the World, and this show is made possible by our friends from Bitonic and BRINGIN. Thank you guys for helping with our mission to connect the world with Bitcoin through the Lightning Network. And if you also want to help out, then follow us on X or on Nostrdam or subscribe at our YouTube channel. Or if you have any questions at all, then head over to our Telegram group and you can ask us anything. And of course, a donation is always welcome.
Conectează lumea.
Welcome, Lucas.
Welcome, Lucas.
Finally on the show.
Finally on the show, man.
No, it's great to have you. Really,
after months of hunting you down, my man.
Years.
years even. Hey, cool, man. No, good to have you, really, Lucas. From Brazil, so I don't know. We have Via Jeff we had on the show.
Yeah, Via Jeff, and was there another one?
From Motolesi or Renato?
Motolesi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we had them both. Yes.
That's also a long time ago.
That's also a long time ago. That's for sure.
I'm searching it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 50 episodes ago or something.
Yeah, Bitcoin Beats Brazil, Bitcoinize, episode 110.
Maybe also Renato from Fedi.
Yeah. Oh, so we had a couple of Brazilian.
Man,
the Brazilian
people.
Bitcoin mafia is everywhere, man.
There's a lot of Bitcoin in Brazil, yeah.
Hey, and have you ever been to Bitcoin Brazil then, Lucas? Speaking of which.
Have you ever what? Sorry?
To Bitcoin Beach Brazil, the project.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like there.
It was nice. It was very good. Like it's a very small village. It's very touristic. So it's one of the most touristic places in Brazil. So it's very nice. It's a very interesting place to do an experiment like this, because you have so many foreign people coming out there, and then having Bitcoin Lightning as an option for payments there. Well, you can just come with your, well, if you're an American, your Strike or your Cash App account, and just go there and pay for food or for ice cream.
Yeah, cool, man. And in your own neighborhood, how's the how are the options there?
Not really great. Like we have a couple options in São Paulo as a whole. Like honestly, we don't have anyone actively working on like onboarding merchants in some. Well, we have a few communities that are now starting, but it's a very long road. Like Brazil has a very good payments system, so it's hard to have like it's hard to onboard merchants to Bitcoin, because then they start accepting it, but then no one goes to pay for stuff with Bitcoin, right? At least not currently, especially not in a big city like São Paulo. And then what ends up happening is people even forget. So I think the only places where Bitcoin payments stick are by places owned by Bitcoiners. So they're actually getting those Bitcoins and holding and stacking those sats.
Yeah, but you're not dreaming of opening up a cat cafe, like a coffee shop with cats and all, and that kind of playing board games,
karaoke, and
karaoke, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's probably maybe it's my retirement project.
Yeah, man.
After all internet sats conference.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just reading, Ramon just told me, and that's true. Nathan from B2C Map, we had him on the show, and he said that Brazil is the biggest grow market, speaking of merchants and from payments to the roof. Is that true? Or
I think there are a few
we've seen it on the map.
Porto Alegre and Rolante and Jericoacoara. I think these are the places, these are the cities pushing up adoption, because they have some leaders pushing circular economies, etc. And but the other thing I would say is also always take into consideration when you see stats and you see Brazil on the top. Brazil is so big, man, that everything we're at the top. We're at the top. But they're doing good work in some cities in Brazil, onboarding merchants, and I think it's especially nice to see what happens when you onboard merchants in a city where the city didn't have any like attracting component to it. Like it wasn't a touristic city. Like Holland is a good example of that. Like, and Berlin and El Salvador is another one. Like Bitcoin, it's actually embraced by the local community as, this is our differential. Like this is what will attract tourism. This is what will attract business to our stores. I think that's where it's also an example of what's happening with Peter McCormack's team and city, Bedford. Yeah. So I think that's a good. I think that's a good angle to attack when you're thinking.
What's the total population of Brazil now?
200. Wow. Let's see. 211 million. Like
so it's
I'm looking at 211 million.
So it's like 10 times Netherlands. So it's not very odd that are on top of the list. That's correct. And the total population of Sao Paulo, where you're living?
Oh, it's more than 11 million.
So
if you take into consideration the whole metropolitan area, it's maybe 20 million.
So it's like the same as Holland, right? So, but hey, there's a mission there, Lucas. So I mean, it's time for retirement, man. And then just I see now that you have like around 100 merchants in Sao Paulo accepting Bitcoin. So
I should visit all of them.
Yeah, that's like, yeah. I don't know if there's maybe some ETMs between them, or but hey, maybe you should try some out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
see
to
here-
especially like Pizzeria Moraes and Cervejaria Dogma. These are the ones that we sometimes do meetups there because they're owned by Bitcoiners. So these are the ones I
cool.
know better, but I should visit all 100 of them.
Yeah, man. Maybe you should organize a meetup next Thursday, right? Because then it's Bitcoin Pizza Day. So then
Oh yeah.
maybe
That's
connect those two.
smart.
Yeah.
Just bringing up an idea, man. Just bringing up, and maybe Edward and I are going to fly in and have a pizza with you, Lucas.
I would love that. Hey, Lucas, what's the story behind your cats? How many do you own?
I own 2 cats.
2 cats.
I had another cat.
And you named them Satoshi Nakamoto.
No. I named them all based on like a Brazilian cartoon called Irmão do Jorel, which is like brother of Jorel. It's a very nice cartoon. Like it happens in the 90s, and Irmão do Jorel or brother of Jorel is like a kid who like is living through the 90s in like a maybe 8 years old or 6 years old kid, and no one knows his name because he's known as there goes the brother of Jorel. Like there was his older brother who's
Always.
very popular and So my cats are named after characters of this cartoon.
Okay.
I had another cat who was she was deceased 2 years ago, but and I was very sad about that. So she was the first
of course.
one. My partner adopted her from the streets, and then we got another one because we didn't want to leave her alone. And then when she died, we adopted another one because we didn't want to leave the second one alone.
Yeah, so you will keep adopting
2 is a
new
nice
cats
number.
your whole life, Lucas. That's
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish they would live more. Like they would live longer than me.
Yeah, of course.
Not longer than me
they're-
because I need to take care of them, but maybe at the same time.
And they're keeping you home then. So just to stay there and not to travel and
Yeah.
yeah, man.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, let's talk about and you pronounce it's Vinteum, right? Vinteum.
Vinteum.
Vinteum. Vinteum. Yeah, that's like the Brazil, the Portuguese pronunciation. Vinteum. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Vinteum and SetsConf. But it has to be the 21 minutes, Lucas. So if you like, we would really love to enter the 21 minutes.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. The 21 Minutes is brought to you by BRINGIN, the app to reliably sell and spend Bitcoin from any wallet. Okay, what inspired you to establish Vinteum, and how are you supporting Bitcoin and Lightning Network developers in Brazil and Latin America?
Cool. Okay. So the seed for Vinteum and even for SetsConf, our conference, it was planted all the way back to 2019. I was still working at an Argentinian exchange called Ripio, and I went to San Francisco for my first big international Bitcoin conference. It was a Bitcoin Mag conference, and it was still a small event compared to today. It was maybe 1,000 people, something like that. But many of the most important builders of the ecosystem were there. So on that same week, I had the chance to go to attend my first BitDevs meetup, and it was not like any BitDevs meetup. It was a BitDevs meetup in San Francisco in 2019, where a lot of the core devs were still living there, and others who were not living there were traveled for the conference, because I think it was, I don't know if there were a lot of big conferences back then, but I felt like that was the first Bitcoin magazine conference after maybe they did one in 2013. I don't know. And the quality of the discussion at BitDevs blew me away. I left that meetup thinking we need that in Brazil. I want to be around this level of technical dialogue and energy. I want builders from Brazil like having this type of conversations. So I came back to Brazil with 2 goals. One, I want to organize a the best Bitcoin conference in Brazil, and I want to replicate what I felt here. I want Brazilians to have the same opportunity I had, and I knew it wouldn't be scalable to have everyone go to San Francisco for a conference. And the other thing was I want to help fund the Bitcoin core developer from Brazil. But and that's where Vinteum comes in. Like, actually, the idea of Vinteum was evolving throughout these years after 2019. I only founded Vinteum in 2022, I think, or 2021. Yeah, 2022. And it was like, it started with this seed idea of like, I want to fund a Bitcoin core developer from Brazil. But then the path to get there was like, I want to start some meetups in Brazil, and then a conference, and then like see this ecosystem here. And I met Alex Leishman, who was the host of BitDev San Francisco, and I met Andre Neves when I was looking for the other BitDevs, and I noticed Andre Neves was the BitDevs New York host. When I was looking at that, I was like, oh, Andre Neves, this is a Brazilian name. What the hell? And then I contacted him, and I learned he was Brazilian. He was like doing some cool stuff in the Lightning ecosystem back in the early days. So I started like talking with him about that. And my idea was a very naive idea that the profits of my conference would then fund a developer. My conference isn't profitable at all, but then it was like 2019, then 2020 started, and I was like procrastinating to start all those plans, and then COVID happened. Like, I actually did a meetup. The first meetup was in February 2020 with Elizabeth Stark and the whole Lightning Labs team. Yeah. I was not at Lightning Labs yet, but the team was here for a team retreat. And I organized a meetup with Elizabeth. And then later, it was already scheduled a developer workshop with Nicolas Golini and Andre Neves. They would do both like core development, like a Bitcoin core deep dive and a Lightning deep dive, 8 hours workshop on a Sunday or Saturday. It was already scheduled, but then it was canceled because COVID started, and then pandemic and all those. And I was very frustrated, but my plans didn't work the way I planned them. Things didn't go the way I planned them. But then I realized, okay, even if I had done the conference, even if I had the money to fund a developer, who is this developer I'm going to fund? And Chaincode Labs was going through the same issue with pandemics, because they were doing every year their Bitcoin residency, where even Andre Neves was a part of that, but a lot of other developers in Bitcoin and Lightning were part of that. They trained a lot of developers that are very important to the space, right? Until this day. And they were exploring what they could do online, like what kind of activities they could do to educate and train developers and recruit developers to work in Bitcoin online. And that's where I messaged a few developers that I knew in Brazil. 7 of them started doing the Chaincode seminars. From the 7, 3 of them are to this day full-time open source developers. One is Bruno, who is my head of engineering at Vinteum and a board member of Vinteum too, and helps with all the education and onboarding new developers. The second is Nicolas Golini, who is now working on a C# implementation of the Lightning Network. And the third one is, I don't know what's his name, Zero W something. He just joined a local host in SF. So three Brazilian engineers. So 3 out of 7 of those that I recommended going through the Chaincode seminar are now full-time Bitcoin developers. And then I started looking for funding to fund those developers. Initially, only Bruno was looking for funding. Nicolas came later, and the other one, the name, his name is, I forgot his name, but it's not important right now. Then I started looking for funding for Bruno, and then throughout the process of looking for funding for Bruno, we thought, well, maybe we can scale that and do it for more developers and actually onboard more developers to Bitcoin Brazil. And that's how it happened. And now we have 5 grantees and 7 fellows, and a lot of other developers in the ecosystem that are building and working on Bitcoin.
Really nice. And where does Vinteum stands for?
Vinteum is actually 21 in Portuguese.
Okay. So obvious.
So easy.
So obvious. I was thinking, like some sort of god or something.
If we translated it, then
it's
it would
just 21. Okay, cool, man. Hey, and why did you choose to concentrate Vinteum's efforts on Brazil and Latin America? What unique challenges and opportunities do those regions present for Bitcoin development? Other than that, you are a Brazilian guy, obviously.
Yeah. So mostly, like I focus Vinteum's efforts primarily on Brazil, actually, because it's where I'm from. It's where I saw the clearest opportunity to start. But like from the beginning, the broader vision was like including Latin America. Many of the challenges we face in Brazil, like inflation, financial exclusion, lack of institutional trust, are shared across the region. But like. And then Dulce also started almost at the same time, Libreria de Satoshi and B4OS, and then later B4OS. So she's doing an incredible job in Spanish-speaking Latin America, and we collaborate a lot. So it makes even more sense for me to concentrate my energy in Brazil. We can each focus on where we have more context, more relationships. I think at the same time, I believe there's like the power of focus. If we want to like truly educate and onboard Bitcoin developers, we need to be present and doing like in-person work and building local communities. And if you're focusing a specific area, and there are other organizations like mine, like focusing on India, like Bichala, or Africa, like Bitras, and like I think that focus helps you inspire and support new contributors better, because you're closer to, like, even you understand them better because you're culturally more closer to them. You have that grassroots momentum because that you can build by meeting and having them go like meet in person. I think in person is so important. Like in-person gatherings are so important. They are so much more powerful than online. Like you can do a lot online, but the pollination that you see when you put people in the same place is incredible.
And what kind of initiatives or accelerating programs does Vinteum have in place to help the next generation of Bitcoin builders? Well,
our main program is the Bitcoin Developer Launchpad, which we started. The first cohort was in from November to February. It's like a 12 weeks online program followed by 10 days residency at Casa Vinteum, which is a hacker house we have in São Paulo. Then that program, like throughout the program, they what they do is they do like they take technical assignments. It's a lot for it's very focused on self-learning, and like we have a lot of study materials and check-ins and mentorship. And then we had 600 applications to that program, and then 120 actually started the program after all the filtering and the seminars that we did to filter.
That's quite a lot, man.
Yeah. And then from those 120, we had 22 selected for the residency. Mm-hmm. The residency what happened in São Paulo at Casa Vinteum, and then we all went to Bitcoin Plus in Florianopolis.
But how big is the house then? 22. Are they sleeping on mattresses next to each other?
No, actually we paid for a hotel near the house.
Okay,
and
great.
The house was only the like meeting space for the workshops and the hacking.
Yeah.
We do have bedrooms for people to stay at Casa Vinteum, and like usually in our betas we have even like 8 to 10 people staying there. But for the 22 and it was not only the 22, it's the 22 and the mentors and all the grantees that we have who were there to colonize the space. and then after that program ended, 7 of them were selected to your fellowship program, which is our other program. The fellowship program is a 6 months. Through 6 months, these 7 people are actually already contributing to a specific project, either Rust Bitcoin or BDK or LDK or Bitcoin Core or whatever. And then they are already paid. It's kind of like a grant, but it's a little more. They need to do like monthly reports. they have a specific mentor guiding them. It's more structured. So we want to help them create that proof of work that will then put them in a position to get a grant. And then other than that, we have the mastering seminars. Mastering seminars are based on the Mastering Bitcoin and Mastering Lightning books.
I saw that on the website. We
have we have a few things that are in the works that we've never done yet, but we're doing, which is like the Rust seminar, the Bitcoin Core seminar, and we also have a lot of workshops at Casa Vinteum, the Hacker House that we have, and the Hacker House is also a place that any Bitcoin builder can go and work from there every day. We have what else? We also support 6 BitDevs meetups in Brazil. So
cool.
After I saw BitDevs SF, now we have 6 BitDevs in 6 different cities hosted. Like what I did was we were flying some of the best technical Brazilian developers to São Paulo for São Paulo BitDevs every month, and then they would stay at Casa Vinteum and sleep there, and then later they all started their own BitDevs in their cities. So we now have 6 cities with BitDevs.
Yeah, that's great.
That's nice.
Yeah, because you really want that to expand by others.
Can you share how Vinteum secures funding for its initiatives and the role of partnerships in sustaining your programs? Because it looks like a lot of things that needs to be organized. You have all kinds of expenses, hotel rooms, or maybe some food, flying people in. How do you guys securing the funding then?
Yeah, we have a lot of expenses, and the heaviest expense are the grants. Like we're trying to pay those developers like competitive. We're trying to be competitive with what they would get in the industry, and like so it's a lot of money. But our initial donors were Wences Casares, John Pfeffer, Sebastian Serrano, OKX, and HRF. So we're fully like we're a nonprofit. We're fully funded by donations and grants. So like we recently got some grants from Btrust and OpenSats to fund educational programs. Later on, Wences committed to a new donation that will help us secure our operational expenses for a few years. And that can allow us to go to other donors and say, hey, 100% of what you donate will go will go to grants. So it's mostly that, like donations from individuals and companies in this space. HRF has been a supporter for a long time too. Every year they do a donation.
Amazing, great.
So,
yeah. Well, and I've also seen that the Launchpad program includes translated materials from Chaincode Labs and contribution from experts like Lisa Niegood, Nifty. How do these resources enhance learning experience for participants? I mean, you really need those expert content, of course, and people also.
Yeah, we don't generally translate everything that we like the technical materials, because we tend to believe that if you want to be a Bitcoin open source developer, you're going to need to figure out like reading and writing and sometimes even speaking and listening to English. It's like something we can't avoid. But what we have like, so sometimes people need to read English materials, but then the discussions are in Portuguese. So we try to create community that can help those that are not like fluent in English, but we tend to tell them that English is going to be one of the most important skills they need to work on. And then having people like Nifty come, and like she was here actually for the residency. Grant from Warnet was here. Space Bear from PageJoin Dive Kit was here, and also our own grantees, Daveson, Leonardo, Beans, Bruno, Lab Hash, they were all here. So having them come, and I think even if you don't do like, even just by being with them at the co-working space and like working side by side with them, that's so much powerful in terms of what the inspiration it brings to the developers.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So and Nifty is such a good educator. Like she's maybe the best technical educator in our space. And the conferences they should, like the Bitcoin Plus Plus was such a great event, and it was such a nice ending for our program because we flew everyone to Florianopolis for that. We're actually doing it again. Like we're already talking with Nifty. February next year, we're gonna do Bitcoin Plus Plus in Brazil, in Florianopolis again.
Awesome.
It was very important for our community, and it's helping us foster the local ecosystem of builders.
Yeah, I can imagine. Hey, what are your plans for future cohorts of the Bitcoin Dev Launchpad, and how can interested developers get involved?
Cool. Like I think we're mostly like improving on some of the technical assignments and making them better. We're also adding a part of the program where they're actually it's a little more hands-on and like leave them figure out what they need to do, because the program had like a specific timeline where we had activities we planned for every single week. We're gonna leave some weeks open for them to figure out versus figuring out after the program. And the other thing I think, which it's already happening actually, is after the first cohort in the mastering seminar that we're doing right now, for example, the first cohort participants are now mentors and monitors. So having that kind of a give back from them, because they went through this awesome program actually, and for free. They were actually for free, and they actually had their expenses paid to go to São Paulo for the residency, etc. So having them kind of give back to the community by being mentors now and helping this new cohort, it's going to be a nice experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to apply, like just, we don't have a specific application in right now, but you can just be part of our community. Follow me and follow Vinteum on Twitter, and we're going to announce when the applications are open. Join our Discord. In our Discord, we have more than 600 people there, like discussing technical topics. You can also join the mastering seminars before the Bitcoin Developer Launchpad. Then you already like meet some community members and read through Mastering Bitcoin, Mastering Lightning with them.
Yeah. That's a great way to start. And of course, all the grantees are evenly important, but you recently announced developer, and you talked about it, Pins, as Vinteum fifth grantee, focusing on L&D development. Maybe to make it more concrete, can you tell us more about his background and the significance of his work?
Sure. Yeah, we're very happy about Pins because his journey kind of is inspiring and a testament for the diverse paths that lead to open source contributions, because we had both like 18, 19 years old kids or maybe 21-year-old kids who left school, like university, to work in Bitcoin open source. We had mature developers that were like senior engineers at companies like Zebedee, and then started working Bitcoin open source. But we also had Pins, who was actually like, he was a developer maybe 15 or 20 years ago, and then his career shifted more towards big tech sales, cybersecurity, like, and he spent years like not coding, and then he made a shift to relearn programming and learn Golang and start working in the Lightning Network. So, and Pins has been a node runner for some time now. So it's also nice to see what that experience will help in terms of sharpening the node running experience. Like he knows what are the hurdles and what are the things that should be improved. He doesn't have like a big project currently that he's mostly helping a lot. Like he's in the onboarding phase, right? Like helping and reviewing PRs, helping reduce workload for more experienced core L&D devs to work on the big projects. But he also is acquiring context and experience so he can help on bigger projects later on. He contributed to a couple PRs in like route blinding and some other routing improvements. So it's he's been working on getting to Bitcoin development for maybe 2 years, and now like he's his path has been accelerating. So I feel like in a year you're gonna see a lot of interesting things coming from him.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen your cat behind you, but I was distracted by. We had a lot more questions about SetsConf also, but the 21 minutes
Sorry, I
are
speak
over.
too much.
No, it doesn't matter. No.
It's a very interesting story, right?
Yeah, and I think the story about pins that really relates to something that is very concrete. This is what you're doing with Vinteum, and I think for other developers interested in contributing, it would be great to have them, of course, look into it.
I think the main thing is like CV is not important in Bitcoin open source. It's just the effort and the passion that you put on.
Yeah, true. That's a nice ending.
Conectează lumea.
We still have one question left for you, Lucas.
That's right.
You may choose yourself. We pre-recorded a question from Nathan Day, and he's from btcmap.org. We already mentioned him a couple of minutes ago. And Paul Keating, and he's from primal.net, the Nostrdam client.
I'll go with Nathan.
Nathan, okay.
Hi, I'm Nathan from BTC Map, and this is my question. In what year will BTC Map become irrelevant?
That's a good question.
So to put it in a different perspective, in what year will every merchant accept Bitcoin?
Yeah.
So we don't need to find any place that accepts Bitcoin because they're all accepting Bitcoin.
Then it's fiatmap.org.
Maybe yeah, it's not even a map. It's just Google. It's just Google Maps will show where to go.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
And they accept Bitcoin. Like, oh wow, maybe difficult question. Maybe
we need to be hyper Bitcoinized. 2035.
Yeah.
Oh, you're bearish, Lucas. No.
We have a lot of challenges on the payment side of things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, so we need more developers on that side.
For sure.
Of course. Okay.
Conecta el mundo.
Yeah, where can people follow you, Lucas, if they want to know more about Vinteum? Maybe some Brazilian developers who are just getting started and think, well, this sounds great, I would like to apply. Or maybe you can share some links to the projects you manage.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Okay, so probably your cat.
Follow Lucas DCF on Twitter. That's where you can find me. And then if you want to look for Vinteum or SetsConf, it's SetsConf _ on Twitter and Vinteum _org. Is that what? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. Lucas, thanks again. And for everybody else, also, thanks again for listening in. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. So if you like our content, then please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also make a donation. And subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. So we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Adeus, Lucas.